Goodest of mornings and hellest of lows. It's nice to see you again. You know me as Rose. I'm back, and I think this might be the end of it. Honestly, I'm confident that this is going to be the end of Escape from Wormwood. I just recorded the last one. It was saved to my computer. This is information you do not need to know, but I'm telling you anyway. We're straight back into it. Back into the decision about do we or do we not eat Pete. I feel like I forgot his name again. Billy is what I am calling him when I forget his name. I feel like Billy over here would be the fucking sheep who follows the shepherd. That's the whole original thing of the saying, by the way. I'm getting off topic. I feel like Billy over here would play into their game just to seem like he's a part of their vibe to possibly escape in any way. So I'm gonna pick eat. And let's see how this goes. You're doing what you have to in order to survive. Told you. It would be all meaningless if you were to die here like this. That's why you have to do whatever it takes. Day 11. Wasn't it like day 5 or something? Oh, damn. For 5 days, your little raindrop came to visit you and made small horizontal incisions across your wrist. Yeah, I'm not surprised that she doesn't care. They bled as you chatted with her. You continued to chat in order to take your mind off the pain. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of it's like a farm. This reminds me of a farm. It's like Loam, I'm pretty sure his name is. Like, Loam is the pig, and the little raindrop is like the farmer's kid, who casually talks to the pig, even though they're clearly going to kill this pig, no matter what. There ain't nothing he can do. You think you're probably going to hell. There are all sorts of conceptions of hell in the cultures you've studied, be they cold, fiery, transient purgatory, or a realm of eternal punishment. You weren't sure you believed in hell before now, but being faced with your imminent death, you want to believe there must be some kind of afterlife. You can't imagine whatever's next will be a peaceful paradise with your family, your ancestors happily waiting there for you. Surely some kind of retribution is coming for a coward like yourself. What's being done to you now, it isn't enough. The blood coagulates, the wounds scab over, a fresh incision is made. Maybe the only part of you that will ever escape this place is what's already flowed down that drain. Because each time that door opens, a little seed of hope is planted. She's here again. She smiles to greet you. Talk about your journal. Your field of study asked to be released. Stop talking for the day. I'm assuming it's gonna be like an only option type of thing. Field of study. You explained to the little raindrop that you'd traveled here on a research expedition. When she asked about the purpose of your research, you realized Pete's photography would communicate it most clearly, so you had her dig into the witch's backpack to uncover her photo book. Pete was such an unpleasant person to be around, but her talents were unmatched. She Seeing her photography again brings you to tears. You have to stop looking. The ropes around your body might be the only thing holding you together. I'd say your skin is, along with, of course, the ropes, your skin and bones and body parts. Excusez-moi. I think this is gonna definitely... These two are gonna possibly, like, leave the other one open. This one's gonna cut all of these off. Talk about your journal. The little raindrop asks you to tell her another story from your journal. I love the new, like, design background things. It's so cute. NomnomNami, you did good on this game. You carry it with all your adventures. You carry it with you on all your adventures. A record full of notes on ancient civilizations, things you've learned from various tribes in the region, and little things about their ways of life that have fascinated you. Anthropology is a broad subject. There are so many exciting things to learn. You've shared some of those things with this mouse, who seems to match your excitement and interest in the wider world. She's never left this village, so it's no surprise she would feel that way. When you finish your story, she seems no closer to releasing you. You can feel your stories sway her heart, but still, she does not budge. I feel like this would be useless, but also it's like, do I think like the character, or do I just vibe and try to figure out the story? I want to learn more. You've tried to lead the conversation towards your escape many times. You've even offered to take the little raindrop with you, to show her the world. But there's only so hard you can push. The other mice tell her that the outside world is full of dangers. You've tried to show her that it is instead full of wonders. Ironically, it is your wanderlust that has landed you in danger. But that doesn't have to be true for this mouse. But she doesn't have the courage to flee, and you fear you no longer have the strength. So you admit defeat. Stop talking for today. Another day goes by, bleeding and talking late into the night. The little raindrop yawns, then carefully picks up her candle. I'd better go to bed. You don't want her to leave. You don't want to be left alone another night in this dark, horrible, blood-stained room. Good night, Loam. See you tomorrow. You offer a weak good night as you close your eyes.
Probably for the last time.
You know what? You're probably right. You don't know how much longer you'll last. 2 more days, apparently. Day 13. How fucked up is the room now? Oh, what? You're feeling more lucid today. The hopelessness has left you. You think it's probably your body's last hurrah. Your grandmother was like that too, the day that she passed. You wonder if dying bodies can feel their expiration date coming on. You thought you'd be scared, but really, you've spent these last 2 weeks in total fear. You're overdue for a sense of peace. Okay, I'm ready. She raises the knife to your arm and awaits for your approval. She'll be forced to reopen an older wound with how many cuts have been left there. Why does it fall on you to signal the go-ahead? It's made the whole thing feel like a slow suicide. It's enough to make you laugh, but the corners of your mouth only curl slightly at the thought before relaxing back in peace. In the end, you do give her a nod, and she cuts, and you bleed. You're so cold, But you don't have the energy to shiver. You wish she'd brought a blanket. But you can't ask for that now. You don't want to open your eyes again. You thought for a moment that she didn't want to, or that you didn't want to, but... Little raindrop. Could you take off your mask? She hesitates. My mask? Why? I've never seen your face. I'd like to see it once. Before it's too late. Okay. Oh my god! You stare at her for a moment. In this light, you were almost unsure, but there really is a person under there. Not some monster. You worried you might only be fooling yourself, believing she was a victim like you. She's still a child whose view of the world has been warped in such a way that brings harm to others. She can't see the damage she's done. She hasn't had a chance to comprehend it before being put into this situation. Such beautiful round eyes. Oh, your eyes are nice too. You're able to muster a real laugh this time. You have to say more than that. Listen, little raindrop. Once you prepare my body for the feast, we won't be able to talk anymore. That's okay. The feast is what's important. It's a great honor to be offered up by the highest power. You were chosen. There wasn't enough time. You couldn't get through to her. There was never going to be a way to untangle those immoral beliefs of hers overnight. But if you leave it like this, she may never break free from them. You use all that's left of your strength to lean forward, letting your head fall into her lap. Please learn everything you can about this world, little raindrop. This highest power of yours isn't the only power that exists. It isn't the only way. She doesn't say anything. You continue. I'm sorry, I've never even said things that must sound I'm sorry, I've only ever said things that must sound like sacrilege to you. But I hope you can understand it one day. Come to understand it, and escape from this place. That is my wish for you. You close your eyes again. You pray to every power you can think of to please let this Jeebus Christen! Such an emotional moment and I can't read. You pray to every power you can think of to please let this mouse escape. Part 1. End. What? Huh? After the feast that day, I thought the highest power wouldn't be passing down any more blessings for a while. What? 3 at once had been a lot of work. I had only ever managed 2 at a time before. I thought maybe the highest power was pleased with how well it went, and that's why it sent us for a 4th. Am I playing as her? Oh my god. Okay, this is actually... Oh, dude. Okay, locking in. I hoped this new offering was as nice as you were. If so, I'd go with the slow draining method again. I knew I wasn't supposed to talk to them, Meals are to be eaten, not spoken with. That's the rule. It's a farm. Ah! But the monkey was wide awake when I came in to start the draining ritual. And I wanted to see if she was as nice as I can speak. Funnest, the best effects. If you were wondering, I actually am kinda smart, can read, and can speak. It might take a bit for that to be true, though. But the monkey was wide awake when I came in to start the draining ritual. And I wanted to see if she was a nice person like you were, Loam. I had a lot of fun talking to you. So I wondered if other outsiders would share their stories with me like you did. She said she was a member of a search party that was sent out to look for a group of researchers who disappeared in the rainforest a month ago. A witch called Pete, a local rat who was hired as their guide, and the leader of the expedition, an anthropologist. Loam! I was happy to hear someone else say your name. I was happy to be able to talk to someone who knew about you, because I couldn't explain all that stuff to any of my brothers without getting in trouble. But when I told that monkey that you and the others were already offered up to the highest power for the feast, and that she didn't need to look for you anymore, she got really upset. Outsiders always have trouble accepting the highest power's will. They can't comprehend the honor being bestowed on them. She struggled a lot, and I wasn't able to use the knife because of that. I'm the only one assigned to the dining preparation house right now, so it's up to me to carry out the ritual. I had to come back later that night, when she had calmed down. Things proceeded normally after that. I didn't try talking to her again. Think about Loam. I wish you'd stop cutting me. Your words made me hesitate back then. You were always doing me favors, so for a moment, I wanted to do as you asked. He looks exactly as I pictured him, honestly. I shook my head. I have to do it. Who's telling you that you have to do this, little raindrop? Well, it's in preparation for the feast. I have to follow the steps. Even if what you're doing is wrong? You kept saying things like that, and I didn't like how it made me feel. So I rejected it. It isn't wrong. I'm doing it properly. I wiped the knife clean, and when I looked back at you, you had such a sad expression. Killing people, cutting them up like this, it's always wrong. There's no justification that could ever make it right. Do you know why? I knew I couldn't trust anything outsiders had to say, but I was curious to hear your reason. So I asked, why? Because life is precious. Each one of us is given only one life, and when it ends, that person is gone forever. It's a loss you can never get back, not even with magic. That's why you mustn't do things that end others' lives. That's what's wrong. Because it takes something away from this world that can never be returned. I tilted my head in thought. But you helped me before. Unless that doesn't count? I mean, oh no. Oh no, a man figuring out his actions have consequences and mean bad things. I can't help but laugh, I'm sorry. Serious. After that, you went quiet and didn't look at me anymore. I wonder why.
Maybe it's because you kind of made him feel guilty for, not being perfect.
You know what, man in the back? I agree. Once the draining ritual was finished, it was time to get the monkey's body ready for the feast. I had trouble moving it like usual, and I wanted to ask for help. But dining preparations is my responsibility, so my brothers aren't allowed to enter the house. I try to move the bodies even though they're heavy, because it's easier to work at the table. I'd been doing this since I was 13, so I have a system. 13 is actually fucking crazy. She's been doing this for 3 years. Also, I was gonna mention something about her design seeming like a lot younger than she actually was, but I feel like it has something to do with the cannibalism. Usually I'll move them a piece at a time, but it's messy to do the cutting on the floor, so I end up doing bigger pieces. When you offered to help, I thought it was lucky because it would save me a lot of time and energy. It let me focus on this next step, and I even felt refreshed by the end of it. Mercy from the higher power, who knew I had 3 feasts to help prepare. But you're not here anymore. I wouldn't have any help when I had to move you. I wish I realized that. I felt a little sad. Every offering from then on, I'd have to go back to moving all on my own. Thinking of it as another trial from the highest power sort of helped to ease my mind, though. After finishing my work, I stood outside in the rain and gazed up at the sky. No one would call me Little Raindrop anymore. I kept thinking like that, and remembered when you told me about how each life was precious. But there wasn't any way around it. You were an offering sent by the highest power. I couldn't have let you go. During the next feast, I felt kind of sick. I couldn't eat very much. I prayed to the highest power, hoping it would send me some kind of sign and clear away my doubts. But I don't think it heard my prayers. My brothers encouraged me to keep praying, and told me I would feel better soon. So that's what I did. Stop praying. The next time an offering was sent, I couldn't bring myself to drive the knife into another body. I'd been reading your journal a lot and kept thinking about everything you wrote in there. We weren't supposed to read the books the highest power didn't approve of, but I figured a handwritten journal doesn't really count as a book, so it was okay. Yes! Yes! I feel so happy for her, honestly. You know what? Girly Pop has a lot of strength, and I'm very proud that she decided to read the journal. Defiance! Ah! But the more I read, I just felt so sad that I couldn't ask you to explain things to me. Because you were gone, I felt sad that I was already starting to forget the things you did explain. The stories you told me that weren't written in the journal. And since I felt stuck, I couldn't do my work like usual. I ended up untying the ropes. I unlocked the door for them, and they ran outside right away. The others caught them, of course, and they were brought back and tied up again. You really dropped the ball this time. The highest power would be so unhappy with us if we lost the offering. I nodded, feeling ashamed. Well, no harm done. The feast must go on. They patted me on the back with words of encouragement, but I knew I would have to return my work after that. I knew I was going to have to take another life. I'm not feeling well today. Do you think someone else could do this in my place? You've been saying that a lot lately, but we're all busy with our own tasks. If you really aren't feeling well today, then don't push yourself. Come back to it tomorrow. I'm sure you'll be blessed with a speedy recovery in order to get the job done in time for the feast, brother. We're all counting on you. Okay. I'll rest for the day. I felt guilty for slacking off when everyone else was working so hard. I'd always been pretty diligent, because the highest power smiles upon diligent mice like us, like the most. I wanted to be smiled upon. I started to think that the rules were feeling bad. I started to think that the reason I was feeling bad was because I kept bending the rules, but was what I was doing so wrong? I knew I shouldn't have let an offering go. It was like I rejected the highest power's divine will. But when I thought about going through the whole preparation process again, I wanted to run away from it all. Follow that feeling. I mentioned I'd be reading your journal a lot, but actually I've been writing in it too. There were a lot of blank pages left over. I hope you don't mind me using them. You didn't get a chance to write anything about my village, so I thought I'd write about it, about what life is like here instead. Each of us has a job to do. Farm work, cooking, laundry. The highest power assigns us a sacred task, and the village will prosper as long as those tasks are fulfilled. Excuse me, my task is to burp. We wear the same clothes, eat the same things, share the same beds, and put on the same mask. Our masks are a symbol of the highest power. We wear them to reflect its image, so that it knows we are its servants. Questioning the highest power is dangerous, because it means we lose its protection. I want our village to be protected, so I wasn't able to question it before. But your writing and your stories, you helped me look at things in a new way. If outsiders don't have the protection of the highest power, then how do all those thriving cities you told me about really exist? Is it possible to live a good life while abandoning our sacred tasks? I was too afraid to find out. I picked up the knife and did what I was supposed to do. I don't think I ever told you this, but someone else was assigned the task before me. An older brother. He was killed, and the offering escaped. I was the one the highest power chose to replace him. It was hard work, but I was happy to have a purpose. I was happy to be chosen back then. But now, I think you were right, that life is precious. You're gone, and you'll never come back. And it wasn't just you. How much I've been lost from the world with every feast. I started to feel worse and worse, and taking part in it, I stopped eating the meat. I couldn't get out of fulfilling my task. Unless I were to go outside the highest power's reach. One night, I cut a hole in the chain link fence and stepped outside the village for the first time. I looked up past the thick canopy to the vast starry sky and felt so small. I thought about the scary stories I've been told, what happened to mice in the outside world. If I continued beyond that fence, I'd be entering the realm of dangerous predators who would eat a mouse without...
Rose.
Yes? What is it?
It's time.
Well, I have to get going. I shall finish this last sentence, though. If I continued beyond that fence, I'd be entering the realm of dangerous predators who would eat a mouse without a second thought. Well, I shall continue the story in another episode. This has been very intriguing. I did not expect to keep going, and I did not expect to be taking the perspective of the little raindrop, but I'm glad that I did. And honestly, the next episode might be really short. I'm probably gonna end up saying that every time, huh? But, oh my gosh, this was so frickin' fun. You can find me in a crowd of people dancing like all of them. But something's gonna be a little off. Have a nice day.
Dude, this is not a dream. I am here inside the cream of cheese. Yes, it's Jeremy Jordan. And dude, show a little self-control. I am also in your Super Bowl. It's your buddy Double J.